90% of startups fail. That's the headline everyone quotes. The warning every first-time founder hears. But it's a half-truth. And the half they leave out is the part that can actually teach you something. Here is the precise picture. 21.5% of startups fail in year one. 48% collapse within 5 years. 65% within 10. That means the deadliest window isn't launch week. It's the slow grind of years 2 through 5. The stretch when founders have survived long enough to feel confident, but not long enough to have built something the market actually needs. The number one cause of death in that window isn't competition. 82% of failed startups cite cash flow mismanagement as a primary driver. Not a bad product, not bad luck. They ran out of money they could have tracked. But under every cash crisis is a deeper failure. They built something nobody needed enough to pay for. Mark Andreessen calls the solution product market fit. The moment a product so perfectly matches a real problem that the market pulls it out of your hands. Not a nice to have, a must have right now. Y Combinator has a phrase for the customer who creates this pull: their hair is on fire. A person facing a pain so acute, they would use a half-built, imperfect solution today, because waiting costs more than the product itself. Most founders build in the wrong direction. They spend months engineering something they believe in, then go searching for customers to validate it. The founders who break through reverse this entirely. They start with the pain. They talk to 20 real people before they touch a keyboard, and they do not build until someone tells them, "This problem is costing me money every single day." In the autumn of 2008, Airbnb had $750 in the bank. The global financial crisis had just torched the economy. Investors weren't returning calls. The three founders, Brian Chesky, Joe Gebbia, and Nathan Pletcherchik, were deep in credit card debt and running on breakfast cereal. So they made cereal, literally. They designed 2 custom boxes, Obama O's and Captain McCain's, timed to the 2008 presidential election. They sold them at $40 apiece at political conventions and raised $30,000. Enough runway to get into Y Combinator. Paul Graham looked at what they'd done and gave them 3 words that changed everything. Do things that don't scale. So they did. They flew to New York, not to pitch investors, but to knock on the doors of their earliest hosts. They photographed apartments themselves with borrowed cameras. They sat in hosts' kitchens for hours and listened. And one host had a notebook, a handwritten notebook, full of product feedback that nobody had ever asked for. That notebook became Airbnb's entire early product roadmap. This is what people miss about the Airbnb story. It wasn't the press coverage. It wasn't the YC stamp of approval. It was the founders' willingness to do the absurd, labor-intensive, unscalable thing that no business school would recommend. Because radical closeness to the customer was the actual growth engine. Today, Airbnb is worth over $75 billion. It started with cereal, a camera, and the courage to knock on strangers' doors. In 2007, Drew Houston posted a 3-minute screencast to Hacker News. No product, no launch, just a video showing what Dropbox would eventually do. By the next morning, the waiting list had grown from 5,000 to 75,000 people. Houston didn't call that viral and move on. He built distribution directly into the product. One mechanic, refer a friend, get free storage. Ruthlessly simple. In 15 months, Dropbox grew from 5,000 users to 750,000. Not from advertising, not from press coverage, but from a single referral loop, engineered into the core experience. Peter Thiel, who co-founded PayPal and was Facebook's first outside investor, makes a claim that sounds like provocation, but is actually empirical. The number one cause of startup failure isn't competition. It's the failure to build a distribution channel. His point is blunt. A great product without distribution is a tree falling in an empty forest. The pattern that keeps appearing across billion-dollar companies is what insiders call the 70-30 rule. 70% of energy on distribution, 30% on product. Amazon obsessed over logistics and fulfillment years before it was strategically fashionable. Facebook launched exclusively at Harvard, then the Ivy League, then every university, engineering scarcity and demand before scale. Airbnb reverse-engineered Craigslist listings to redirect millions of apartment hunters who were already searching. The counterintuitive truth is brutal and clear. The best product rarely wins. The best distributed product wins. Always. Waiting to be discovered is not a strategy. In 2009, a company called Wufoo charged $15 a month for online form software. Most competitors were free. They grew to over 500,000 customers and were acquired by SurveyMonkey for $35 million. Their edge wasn't the product, it was the price. Charging real money from day one meant they built for customers who valued the solution and automatically filtered out users who'd leave the moment something free appeared. Most early-stage founders make the opposite bet. They underprice, sometimes they charge nothing at all, convinced that low prices will accelerate adoption. What they actually do is attract the wrong customers, destroy their unit economics, and build a business that cannot sustain itself long enough to find product market fit. The data is unambiguous. Startups that build formal business plans with pricing models, unit economics, and financial projections grow 30% faster than those that don't. Yet the majority of first-time founders skip structured planning entirely in favor of what they call building fast. What they are actually doing is building blind. Value-based pricing flips the question. Instead of asking what does it cost to build this, you ask, what is it worth to the customer who needs it most? Salesforce priced per user per month not because that was the industry standard, but because that structure aligned perfectly with the value it delivered. As customer usage grew, revenue grew automatically without a single renegotiation. The founders who crack pricing early understand something counterintuitive. Your price is a signal. Too cheap signals doubt. Price for the customer you want to earn, not the one you're afraid to lose. Paul Graham has read thousands of startup applications across more than 2 decades at Y Combinator. His most counterintuitive finding is this: determination beats intelligence. His exact words are worth writing down. As long as you're over a certain threshold of intelligence, what matters most is determination. Not brilliance, not credentials, the refusal to stop. But determination alone doesn't build a billion-dollar company. The data on co-founders is decisive. Approximately 75% of successful unicorn-stage companies were founded by 2 or more co-founders with complementary skill sets. Technology combined with business, science combined with sales. Solo founders, regardless of how brilliant, rarely build companies that scale. Not because of effort, because of blind spots. The best startup teams aren't the most credentialed, they're the most complementary. One founder who builds, one who sells, one who obsesses over the product, one who obsesses over the customer. Jeff Bezos formalized this instinct at Amazon with his 2-pizza rule. If it takes more than 2 pizzas to feed a team, it is too large to move fast. Great startup teams fail when everyone agrees. They win when someone in the room is still asking, have we talked to enough real customers? Have we tested enough assumptions? Have we actually earned the right to scale? Here is the billion-dollar lesson, the one hiding inside every story we've covered today. The startups that change industries don't succeed by following the obvious playbook. They do unscalable work before they automate. They obsess over distribution before they perfect the product. They price for value early and build complementary teams over brilliant soloists. And they choose determination over raw intelligence every single time. The founders who build billion-dollar companies don't start with better ideas. They start with better instincts about what to ignore and what to double down on in that critical window between launch and survival.